Hi Flosstube, it's Megan, also known as Stitching Moon. This is Flosstube number 7, and today is Monday, October 25th, 2021. So, yeah, I have quite a bit to talk about today and show you all, so we'll get into it. First, I'm actually going to do haul and switch things up and show you my works in progress in kind of the middle, and I also have another finish, but I wanted to haul first because some of it's exciting. So yeah, I actually won 2 giveaways in the last week, and I've never won any giveaways before. I've entered a bunch on Flosstube Instagram, and I finally won my first and then my second in the same week, so I'm so excited. The first one was from Rogue Mama Stitcher, who I've mentioned a few times here before in my Flosstube, but Amber is her name, and she's also on Instagram as Rogue Mama Stitcher, and it was actually for her Instagram that she was doing a giveaway for 1,000 followers, or 1,000 subscribers. Followers on Instagram, yeah. Subscribers is YouTube. So yeah, it was exciting, and it's kind of funny because we actually started putting our stuff on Instagram, our stitching stuff, around the same time, I think. And she was like the first person who reached out to me and was just, messaging and commenting, and she's like my first Insta friend. So, but yeah, she's way beyond me on Instagram followers. So she wanted to do a giveaway for 1,000, which I entered, and then yeah, I won that, and it's amazing. As soon as I get it, I'm gonna show up all the stuff on here. But it was a kit that I got to choose, a backpack between 2 little cute Disney backpacks that she has, and fabric. She showed a bunch of fabric on her Flosstube, and obviously I'm gonna link that all below. So definitely go check that out, and you can see all the things that she's giving away. So yeah, I'm so excited that I won that, and thank you so much, Amber. Also, it's kind of a meant to be story, I guess, because she drew the name, or she actually had one of her sons draw from a hat or a bowl of all the names, and it was on a full moon, Stitching Moon 1, and guess which kit I chose? It's called Blue Moon. So it was just meant to be on a full moon, Stitching Moon 1, a kit of the blue moon. And that's really pretty. I think it's a Design Works kit, but definitely go check out her video and you can see what that's gonna look like. So yeah, I'm so excited to have won that. Thank you again, Amber. And definitely go follow her on Instagram. Help her get to maybe 2,000 and she'll maybe do another one. I don't know. I'm just putting words in her mouth. So the next one I won was actually from one of my viewers. She commented on one of my videos, and she has a new Flosstube as well. I think she might have 3 or 4 videos now. So I watched her and really enjoyed her videos. I'll link her below as well. Her Flosstube is Mrs. Stitches, and her name's Sheila. She's from Canada, and yeah, she was giving away like a little cocoa small pattern for like Christmas hot cocoa, and as soon as I saw it, I thought of my husband because he loves hot cocoa and Christmas. He's Norwegian, as if you don't know, I'm American living in Norway because my husband is Norwegian. But yeah, he in all of Norway really does love Christmas. Like the whole month of December is Christmas. And he has these rules, which a lot of people in Norway have these little rules they like to follow, where he can only have hot cocoa when it's like cold and snowy out. He can only have, the mandarin oranges or the clementines only in the month of December. He can eat those. So yeah, it's funny. But that just reminded me of him. So yeah, I won that pattern as well. So thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Amber. So I'm very excited that it was like a week of winning giveaways. So that was awesome. But some other haul that I did get some stuff myself. One, actually, I didn't think to pull it up on my iPad, but I bought a pattern also from another Flosstuber, Stitching Mommy, Sarah. I'm sure you've seen this, the temperature tree. She has a bunch of temperature patterns in her Etsy shop, and one of them is the temperature tree, where each day of the year you stitch the temperature, kind of the average or the highest temperature, I think it is, of that day becomes like your leaf for that tree. And they're all different colors based on what that temperature is. So it's funny because my husband and I, we were taking a walk and we're like, oh, the snow is on the mountains again. And it always comes to the mountains first, you know, because it's colder up there. So they get the first snow, and then we know that snow is going to come soon or sooner to the ground. But we're like, oh, it'd be interesting to track that over each year, because it seems like it's like earlier sometimes, later. You know, this past winter we had like almost no snow until February, and then it went until April. But I just think it would be fun to track that. So I got my first one. I'll start for 2022. And then this one I can actually show you. I got my new toy. So this is the DMC thread, what do they even call it? Well, they don't really have a name for it, I guess. But the thread card where it has the actual DMC threads, and it has all of them, all 500 or 500 plus in here. So these are the real threads on here. And it has the number, and it goes on and on and on. And then it has all the special ones at the end, all the glittery ones, light effects, and it has their new ones, newer colors on here as well. The pearl cotton too, so yeah, that's fun. And this has come in handy already because there's a few things, including the temperature tree, that I wanted to see if I could kind of match what I already had that wasn't labeled. So I don't know about you, but I have a bunch of non-DMC thread, or maybe DMC, but probably not, that was saved from like leftover kits in the past that I've done. And so I saved the thread, and I have them on bobbins now and kind of color sorted in just like a box. And so I used this to kit up, or try to kit up what I had, the temperature tree, and then there's a couple ornaments that I want to do for December, but I wanted to try and use some of that if I could. So I just kind of compared the bobbin on to what color it matched, and some of them I got a pretty good match. Not perfect on some of them, but it would do. But it wasn't a ton. I didn't go through, I still have a bunch in my stash, but I was able to use a few, so that saves me on skeins that I need to buy. So yeah, it's definitely already come in handy. Something else it's definitely come in handy for already is, so I have on my Floss Organizers that you've seen before, I can show you actually what it looks like real quick. Okay, so I use these Floss Organizers, Paco Floss Organizers, and it just has the symbol on here, and before I do the project, I just sort the threads on here for the symbol. So it doesn't have the number or DMC or anything. And I noticed when I was going to take a color, I'm like, wait, that's not the same color. And I think I moved another color back onto the wrong spot. So I was like, okay, well, which one is it supposed to be? And it was one where it wasn't this one, but it was like both of them were down to like not very much. So I couldn't tell which was actually supposed to be there. So that's when I just matched it to what I saw in here, whatever color it went to, and I'm like, okay, that's the one it's supposed to be. So it's definitely come in handy already. All right, I think that's it for haul. I also want to just let you know, I'm going to insert a video at the end of this that's actually a demo video. I just recently had a question from one of my viewers about, in one of my previous videos I mentioned that on these floss organizers you can grab just one thread at a time, which makes your stitching process so much more fast and neat. And she was like, oh, I'd love to see how you do that. So I did put a demo video at the end, and this is not something I made up or my technique. I was just watching a couple Flosstubers mentioned it. I forget if they actually showed it or not, but I figured, well, it's easy. I'll just show that here. So stick around for the end if you want to see that. Okay, let's move on to, oh, one more thing that I got that's, well, no, I'll save that for another one. It's a haul, but it's just some thread for one of my projects, but I'll show you that when it actually arrives. So yeah, I have a finish, guys. And you've probably seen this coming, but this is my third finish in the past 3 videos. So I am just going through these gifts that I've been working on because they've all been gifts for other people. And this one you guys have been seeing is blue watercolor poppies. And it's a gift for my sister. Let's see, I rolled it up, so just trying to, and the lighting is, I know there's some shadows on it, so apologies for that. But there it is. All finished. So if you've been watching my other videos, you know that there was some drama with this because, as you can see, it's very tight, close to the edge, and I wasn't sure if it was going to fit. Turns out it actually didn't all the way on the bottom. I think it was supposed to go down another 4 or 5 stitches. This part is okay. It's normally just cut off as part of the pattern. So I was like, okay, I know I measured this. I know this was, I used a piece of Ada from another project and I had it left over, but I measured it, I made sure it was going to fit, and it didn't. So I was like, okay, a couple things could be going on. I measured the fabric to make sure it was 14 count, which this is supposed to be, and it is. It actually came out when I counted it up to an inch of 14 count. So it wasn't the count of the fabric, which I thought it might have been. And then I was wondering if it was the pattern, because a couple things, like as I was doing this, I ran out of a couple threads, like colors. And it didn't mention anything about buying 2 skeins of anything. It was supposed to be just 1 for everything. And then as I was stitching, like, you know, patterns some will have a shaded area of maybe 3 stitches around the edge, and you're not supposed to stitch that. But in this particular pattern, I noticed that the shading wasn't like overlapping. So like if I didn't stitch the shading, I would be missing something, it seemed like, and I double checked so many times because I was like, this doesn't seem right. But what ended up happening is I stitched on the gray area just on 1 page, so it's kind of hard to explain, but so I'm wondering if it became kind of too big by 3 stitches for each page. The dimensions are still okay because I did it the same all the way around. But it just seemed odd that I would have to stitch 1 gray page and not the other. But again, it didn't line up. So if I didn't stitch it, I was missing kind of some stitches. So I'm not sure. This could just be me and I don't know what I'm doing, but it was suspicious too that I just ran out of threads for several colors. But it still fits in the end. It's okay. I think I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it. My sister is in the US, so I'm not going to like frame it or anything and ship it over there. But I could make it into a pillow, but she has a cat that likes to scratch, and I don't really want this to get scratched up. So I think I might still be able to thread it over like a piece of a board, sticky board or something, and then she could frame it the way she wants, so I'm not positive. But anyway, it's done. Don't have to worry about it anymore. And I do think it came out really well. I really like the effect. All right. I'm gonna roll it back again. Yeah, so I like to roll with the stitches or the back facing out just to protect it in case anything happened to it. And I just kind of store it in a little box until it's ready. So moving on to whips. I feel like my sweater blends into this couch here, so I'm getting lost. I'm just ahead. My first work in progress was the Halloween Quaker. And I told you from my last video, I was just going to work on in the month of October, I was going to work on Halloween Quaker every other day on the odd days. So I'd be doing it on the 13th and then Halloween. So I did that. And I managed to get in, I do have a before picture of this one. So I'll insert that here. And I can show you what it will look like when finished. It is by Lila Studio. And I was able to get a lot done in when I did this every other day. Yeah, so a lot of those motifs, and this has, I know I mentioned in my last video that this is a 32 count linen, and I wasn't sure if I was liking it. It was going really slow, but now I'm used to it, so I have been able to pick up the pace a little bit, and it's getting better, and I'm enjoying it more. But I will tell you, this motif right here, I struggled with. Like, I made a lot of mistakes. First, well, there is still a mistake in here where, actually you can kind of tell a little bit, where I think it's this bottom one is one short. It's not long enough, so I had to kind of fudge going around. But the middle part, if you can see, like, it has that diamond going around in the middle, that's right. So the middle dimensions are okay. But I was watching TV as I was doing this, and I got like this part right, and I was like, I don't know what I did. I ended up making this spiral. It was like way down here. And then I thought it was because I made this outside wrong. And I was like, oh no, oh no, I don't want to take out this whole entire thing. But it turns out I just like followed the pattern wrong because I wasn't paying attention. So I had to just kind of frog some stitches in this area and redo it. But now it is doable. Like, I'm okay with it if it's one stitch off in the whole outline. But yeah. Then I got over to this design, and I stitched first like the dark gray outline, and I started to stitch like the orange, and I was like, that looks like a face. And I was like, oh, are these pumpkins? And I got so excited. Aren't they so cute? They're little pumpkins. I didn't even know as I was stitching like what it was going to be. See, when I look at like a picture of like what it's supposed to look like, I just see the whole thing, like the big picture, and I don't look at the little details. So all these little things are a surprise to me. I'm like, oh, there's pumpkins. They're so cute. And now I'm working in the cats. So I've got like half of this cat done, and there'll be one more down there. And then I can go into another one. So yeah, I think this one's so cute. And I have been using Pattern Keeper, so I can tell you it is 28.03% done. And in total, it has 5,045 stitches. And since the last time I saw you, I've done 3,185 stitches. So it's been going a little better than before. Now, I still don't know what I'm going to do after October with this one. If I'm going to put it away until next October, or if I should take it out like throughout the year. Maybe, I know people do like, what is it? Something either Halloween or spooky related on the 13th of every month. So I could do that, or I could take it out on the 31st of the months who have 31 days. So I haven't quite decided, but I don't want to make it, I don't think I'll make it a regular part of like a ongoing rotation, but I might take it out on those days of the month. We'll see how far I get, because then if I only get to say 33% by the end of the month, then it'll take 3 years to finish it if I only take it out in October. So I might do it a little bit on those days the rest of the year, but we'll see. We will see. You guys can let me know what you think I should do, what you'd like to see. Alright, so that was that one. My other whips I only worked on, so like I said before, I was finishing the blue watercolor poppies, and I worked on that every other day that I wasn't working on the Halloween Quaker, but I was able to finish it on the 18th. So I had some days I could put in some other whips in there, and I did 2. So I don't actually have before pictures of what it looked like before for these, but I already took a picture now before filming so that I will have that the next time. So I do have pictures of what it will look like finished. So we've got my Children on the Beach by Cross Stitch Collectibles and the artwork by Mary Cassatt. And this one is my biggest one that I have on the go right now, but not for long. So this one, here it is now. It's on 18 count Aida, 2 strands. So you can see just more of the sky and water and starting to get more down in the rocks. And I'm converting this to like diagonal stitching because before I was doing down and I was noticing lines, and then before I had Pattern Keeper I was like, well, I'll just do some kind of cross country, which I'm very glad I don't have to do because I'm terrible at counting and I make so many mistakes when I do that. So I'm already noticing a couple as I'm going into the diagonal. And I thought, oh, well, you know, it's easy to like go outside that diagonal a little just to get like one more stitch and one more over here. But I'm like, no, I make too many mistakes if I do that. So I have to like strictly stick to that diagonal. So hold me to it, guys. Hold me to it. So I also am missing a couple of the colors down here because I originally had only bought like enough thread for the first page, but now since I'm doing diagonals, I'm going outside of the first page. So I did buy another batch for the floss I'll need for this project, but it's still not fully bought because there's a lot. So, and I have to be careful of the amount that I spend coming in or else I have to pay a bunch of tax on it. So I'm trying to keep each order under a certain amount of money. So by one more order after this one and I should have all of it kitted up. So how much am I on this one? So I'm 3.29%. And in total there's 3652 stitches, and then since the last time you saw it, I put in 1269 stitches. All right. Next is, oh yeah, it's not on here. So this one I don't have in Pattern Keeper, so I can't tell you the stats on it, but it is the Queen of Silk. And I only got one day on this yesterday, actually, so just one day, it's not gonna be a lot. I'm still on this gigantic tree, which I will be for a while, and I was working up in, filling in this area and a little bit down here. And this one is on 14 count, I think it's like a flax, it's Aida. Yeah. So again, next time I'll have some before pictures for you. And I changed out, like I said I would, my bag, because this one was in like a big bulky Coach bag that I couldn't store anywhere. But I took a bag that another cross stitch came in and put it in that, so it's easier to store now. Okay, next thing I have to talk about is very sad cross stitch story. So, you know, I've been working on the Guliana Sampler. I'll show you what that one looks like. So this is it. It's the one that has details hidden in there about 2020, a lot of COVID type related stuff. And that was one that I pulled out to work on first after I finished the blue watercolor Poppies. And so if you watched, you know I've already done this, I've already restarted this project once. So I originally was doing it on 28 count over 1 because I'd never done that before and I didn't know. So I was like, wait, this is gonna be way too tiny and it's killing my focus vision. So I abandoned that one and I just went to my fabric store it's really a knitting kind of store that they have in Norway that does have some cross stitch stuff, but really not a variety. So I just was impatient and wanted to start it again. So I got what they had that wasn't white because I didn't really want to do it on white. I got this cream colored Aida, and so it's a 14 count. So I was like, well, that's okay, it'll be big, but I'll do it. And I really wanted to get started, and I was starting on it. This is what I was doing, and I was really liking it. I was stitching the hidden things in red and the other stuff in purple. And then I pulled it out and I was like, okay, I think now that I have it in Pattern Keeper, I don't have to go just one page at a time. I can do more. And I kind of wanted to do the border and just kind of go give it all a go. So I was like, all right, I'll start stitching the border. I started stitching the border, and then I was like, I don't think I have enough room. So I counted it after I stopped here. I was like, I got way too much left to go. I don't know if this is gonna fit. And it definitely doesn't fit. And I was like, seriously? I counted this so that I calculated it so I would have 2 inches on the sides. So I have 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and it was calculations were supposed to be like stopping here, so I'd have 2 inches here. And I was like, what? Like, how did this happen? So I put up a ruler to the count to make sure, like, is this really 14 count? So if you hold up like a ruler and then like take the 1 inch and just count the boxes in that 1 inch, it should be 14 to give you 14 count. So the first time I counted up, it was 13. There was only 13 boxes per inch. So I was like, this is not 14 count. And I calculated it for it to be 14 count. So it's gonna obviously be not big enough. And then I like remeasured again, and it was 13 and a half. And I measured in another place and it was 14. So clearly this fabric is not even. And Darcy Cameron of Stitchman Darcy just also had put out a video and mentioned the exact same thing happened with him for a stitch along he's doing, where he actually luckily left enough room on the outside to make it work, but it was the bottom where he didn't have as much left down here as he did on the rest. And the same reason, the fabric, it's just not even. And I don't know what brand this is or anything. I don't know if that makes a difference. It's not Zweigart, I guess, because it doesn't have the orange line. It's just whatever they had in the local shop here in Norway. But I was so upset because I can't use this. Like, I'd either have to pull it all out and start again, but I despise frogging or pulling out stitches, so I'd rather just start it again. And I don't know, maybe cut this part off and like save this for something and really measure it against a 13 count and restart this one. So it'll be my 3rd restart on this. It's cursed. Maybe it's because it's about 2020, which was a great year. But I don't know, like, so I was gonna just buy a whole other piece of fabric and do it on something smaller, because I did originally want it on either maybe a 16 or an 18. I've never tried 16 count Aida, so maybe I was gonna do that, and I might. Or I could use, I still actually have, this came from a big roll of fabric, so I do have, I think, a big enough piece of this left to like make it even bigger than this and save 4 inches around just to make sure that it's gonna fit. And actually, Darcy mentioned, which he got the idea from Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery, to actually, instead of measuring in inches and calculating, just count the stitches to like make sure that it's going to fit. Which to me just sounds like a big pain, but I might have to do that now because this is like my 2nd project that it's not gonna fit or barely fit. So my lesson now is I'm gonna leave at least 3 to 4 inches around on everything if I calculate it, or just count it out. So yeah, waste of fabric, waste of thread, waste of time, but you know, it's my year of learning, so that stuff happens, right? But yeah, that's my sad story for the Guliana Sampler, but I will be restarting it. I just don't know yet when or on what. But what do you guys think? Should I do it on, if I have a big enough piece of fabric left on this, should I just redo it on this one? Or should I get a different fabric and try that? Let me know what you guys think. Okay. What next? What next? Oh, another thing actually, speaking of getting your opinions, I want you guys to talk to me a lot today, I guess. I also was deciding or debating what to get for another full coverage that I have. I mean, I already have the pattern. And I've shown it to you, I think, in my first video of one that I do want to stitch. And this is what it looks like. It's by Artecy. It's called Fran. It's the large version. And it's of the painted ladies, the houses, the famous houses in San Francisco that I think survived the hurricane. No, hurricane. I'm thinking Florida. The earthquake. So they have a lot of historical significance, and they're just beautiful. I just really got it because I love Victorian style houses and the old charming houses like that. I just love. Plus, I love the city in the background, the moon, obviously, and then the pretty little garden in the front. So I just love this pattern. So now my birthday is coming up in November, and I found actually that Artecy has a deal with oh, now I forget. Is it Cross Stitch Studio, I want to say, that actually kits up their charts if you want to. So because it's just a pain for me to get all the stuff kitted up here, they can give you your fabric, all the floss, and I was gonna ask for that for my birthday. But I'm debating like what count and what fabric to do it on, because I have my Children on the Beach in 18 count Aida with 2 strands, and that's good, but I'm noticing in some parts of the confetti it does get a little bulky to push up your needle and stuff. And then I also am going to be starting another Heaven and Earth design on November 1st, where that's going to be 25 count over 1. So that's going to be a lot different. So this one I wanted to do something different too, just to try different things and see what I like. So I don't know, I was thinking either 20 or 22 count, but I don't know what amount of threads to use because, so if I did 20 count, I would use 2 strands. If I did 22, I'm really debating because I think that would be too bulky for me with 2 threads, but I'm not sure about the 1 on 22 count. And I asked this on Facebook too, and I got a bunch of responses, and basically a lot of people said they use 2 strands, but then others showed me pictures of 1 strand they've done on 22 and it looks awesome. So it's pretty divided. I guess it's all your preference, which I know it is, and I just have to experiment, and maybe it'll help me decide once I actually start my Heaven and Earth design and see how I like doing with 1 strand on 25, and just maybe that'll help me decide. But I don't know, I just love to get your guys' thoughts too. I ideally would want to do more 22, so it's just smaller overall, but I don't know, if I'm not going to like doing it, then obviously I don't want to do that. But that's what I'm deciding right now, so let me know, yeah, what you guys think, and we'll see. What else? So speaking of plans and November is a very, very busy month for us. We have one of our anniversaries. Yes, we have 2 anniversaries, which I talked about in my last video, so go check that out if you want to know why we have 2 anniversaries. But one of them is November 1st, so we have that. Then we have Norwegian Father's Day is the 2nd Sunday of November, so we have that. Then we have my birthday, which is November 17th. And then, of course, it's Thanksgiving. For those of you not in the US, it's always the last Thursday of November, so, and then it's Black Friday after that. So we have a busy month coming up. Even though I'm in Norway and they don't obviously celebrate Thanksgiving here, I still celebrate it. So I usually cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner by myself. Everyone else is still at work and wherever they are, and I'm just cooking the day away. So I still do celebrate that, which, you know, my family here enjoys. But yeah, it's going to be a busy month. But my plans as far as cross stitch are, I mentioned before, I'm going to start my first Heaven and Earth design on our anniversary. It's called Together by Jim Warren, and I did an unboxing of this in my last video where I showed you the whole material pack that came. So haven't started it yet, but I'm excited to, really excited to do that on the 1st. And then I'm going to have a birthday start, obviously. And what I'm going to start for that one is a kit, actually. glare. Okay, it's by RTO, and it's a woman hugging a wolf, and it's called Forest Heartbeat. And I really liked this one. Well, first it has the moon in her hair. How cool is that? But I also, I think I mentioned before, I read and loved the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. And this pattern reminds me of that. And I thought it would be a nice one to start on my birthday. I know it's a lot of dark colors though, but it's going to be a wintry pattern, right? I'll be doing it in winter a lot. Then I am going to ask for a lot of stitchy stuff for my birthday. But as far as what else I'm going to stitch in November, I'm thinking, since I've just finished a whole bunch of gifts that I've been doing for other people, I'm thinking I want November, since it's my birthday month, to just be like whatever I want. No gifts, just stitch what I like, what I want, which is probably going to be a lot of the full coverage ones. I'm really enjoying doing those. And yeah, just kind of doing what I enjoy, which I enjoy the gifts anyway, but you know, just the patterns that I picked for myself. So I won't be working on my New York pattern in November because that's going to be a gift for my mother-in-law, but I'll pick that back up in December. So that's what I think November is going to be about, and I think, yeah, next time I'll be filming, you'll be seeing my start on my first Heaven and Earth design, so that'll be fun. And I think that's all I have for today. Oh, except for the video of the demo that I'll put in right here at the end. But otherwise, thank you to all my viewers, subscribers, commenters. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much for your support. Bye. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to take out one strand of floss if you're having your thread on some kind of floss organizer like this. I learned this through a Flosstube, just watching Flosstube as well. So it's been amazing. Saves so much time when you just are doing a project and want to get one floss out. You don't have to take the whole thing off, take one strand out, put it back on. So all you do is you take the color you want to find. So I'm going to go for this one. And you just, let me see how we can, I don't know if it's going to focus, but I'm just using my needle and pulling one strand out. If you can see that, I just have one of the strands on my needle. So I'm just gonna pull it out. I usually like hold right here so the whole thing doesn't kind of pop out of the little foam things. And I literally just pull it out. And then I have one strand ready to go on my needle. Then what I do is, just to make sure it doesn't get all tangled, this will be kind of bunched from pulling, so I just straighten that back out, and there you go.